Here we go into our final match of the day between the Dmitrij's Angels and the Fancy Gopniks. Dmitrij's Angels came out of the round-robin phase of the tournament with the first seed, which means they start this best-of-3 set with a one-game advantage. So if Dmitrij's Angels win here on Canyon Ambush, they will win the tournament. If Fancy Gopniks win, they will have to win a subsequent game on Water Hazard if they want to be the SCS 205 champions. First off, for Dmitrij's Angels, we have the Snort Stoop, Bop Stop, Judgment, Hwacha Heavy Carronade, Gatling, and Light Flak. Their ally, the Strom Sunder, Stormbreaker, Gatling, Hwacha, Light Flak on the left side, and on the right side, a little Gatling gun up here, 45 degrees off starboard. And their opponents, oh, well, blue ships are apparently here somehow. These guys do not let me read ship loadouts. Already, Alien Dragonfly and Friendfish is barreling their way into red spawn. Dragonfly losing their balloon first to the Snord Stoops. Heavy Carronade. I think Shrike's in a lot of trouble. They get their armor up just in time. I'm going to assume the Dragonfly is Gatling Hwacha and the Friendfish is Heavy Carronade. However, I think the Alien Dragonfly, if they lose their armor again, they're pretty much donezo. Hwacha coming out, Dragonfly doing their best to dodge it. They do dodge a lot of the incoming fire. However, they do enough damage to force the Friendfish, once popping the balloon of the Snort Stoop, disengaging from the Judgment now, going for the Stormbreaker. And I'm kind of curious as well. I pointed out there have been a few changes to the Stormbreaker since the last time it's been played in competitive. If you've been following these past few weeks, Stormbreaker has been banned. The Hwacha Stormbreaker specifically. Banned on account of it being too good. And as a result, there have been some changes made in the latest patch. Primarily moving one of the guns to the right side of the ship. However, the other change is that some of the I believe the balloon hitbox, they've added more. Basically, some of the balloon hitbox has been converted to armor hitbox. Oh, God! Friendfish! Wow, wow, real questionable positioning there from the Stormbreaker. And that's the first kill. Snort Stoop now. Why am I talking about patch notes when I should be talking about all this nonsense? Heavy Carronade fish in 2018, my friends. Boy, what was I saying? Well, yeah, 2 points on the board for Fancy Gopniks. Well, what I was saying was that because they've added additional, they've converted some of the balloon hitbox points on Stormbreaker to armor, that would theoretically make it more difficult to hit the balloon, because a lot of the balloon is now armor. And I don't think we've seen yet a balloon pop on the Strom Sunder, so Heavy Carronade may prove to be a little bit difficult to use if the Friendfish gets stuck in a 1v1 situation against the Stormbreaker. Now, it looks like Friendfish flying over the Judgment. Stormbreaker is the target, so let's see where these shots hit. They're playing very aggressively to protect their ally because the Alien Dragonfly is so heavily damaged. The Friendfish basically cannot leave the Shrike alone, or they'll just die. Now, a Heavy Carronade shot. They do get the balloon pop, so one clip able to take down the balloon of the Strom Sunder. However, as a result, Friendfish taking some light flak shots from the Snord Stoop, exposing themselves. And this could be it for the Goldfish. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to escape here. Hwacha coming out, yes, finishing them off, but Alien Dragonfly able to get a kill on the Strom Sunder. I think Dragonfly definitely wants to disengage from this fight. There's no way they're going to be able to kill the Judgment before the ally red ship spawns back in. To try to do so would be foolish. So they're rising up. Doesn't seem like they're disengaging. Gatling coming out. Hwacha. Uh-oh. Engines going down. Uh-oh. Red alert. Strom Sunder is back in, and that's going to be it. They're not... Seems like they were... I suspect that they did not want to take this heavily damaged Shrike into the next fight, so they, rather than escaping, just trying to do the damage they can. And look at the Snore Soup. They actually... Looks like that was that. I don't know how much that is. Was that 100 damage? They did take chunk off a bit of the Judgment's health, so I guess worthwhile for the fancy Gopniks, and in return they'll get a full health Shrike for the next fight. And we'll see how next fight, hopefully progressing a little bit differently, is blue team. That I'll be looking at the POV VODs for for the fancy Gopniks, because that was, I don't think I've ever seen a team go from blue spawn to red spawn as quickly as the Gopniks did at the beginning of that game, at the beginning of that fight. However, at this point, because red team spawned in first, they're going to be forced to fight in the canyons for the next engagement. And we could also take a quick look at the loadout, since we didn't get a chance at the beginning, as we do see Friendfish bringing the heavy Carronade, Banshee, and light Carronade. And, yes, Alien Dragonfly, Gatling Hwacha on both sides. So, I'm also going to look at the Storm Thunder really quickly here. If you're not familiar with the changes that have been made to the Stormbreaker, you see this front gun, the Gatling that Rareforn is standing next to, has been angled slightly more to the left, I believe 20 degrees farther to the left, so it's more of a broadside gun. And then this gun, top gun, which previously pointed to the left, allowing for very easy trifectas and quadfectas in select situations, has been moved to the right side to just split up the firepower a little bit. As we see red team moving down the eastern passage to blue spawn, Friendfish. I like what Friendfish is doing here. You see they're poking through the crack. This gives them good visibility into the eastern pass, but also just they lets them back out, and they're totally protected because there's no way the Judgment's not going to be able to follow them through this. Very few ships can actually make it. Well, let's say half the ships can probably make it through here, but I'm not sure if I've actually ever seen a team do this. But it's very smart. I like it a lot. So, as a result, Friendfish able to get an early spot on Dmitrij's Angels. There's not going to be any surprise, and now the Angels going to have to decide how they want to push forward. It's going to be very difficult to catch blue team in their spawn because both the Dragonfly and the Friendfish are pretty fast ships. So Alien Dragonfly can take this forward position. You see blue team is a little bit split up. I mean, Goldfish could potentially charge through the crack and engage the opposing team, but it'll take them a little bit, a second or two to be able to navigate through here. However, because the Shrike is such a fast ship, they can take this forward position pretty safely. And if they get into a bad spot, disengage. And we'll see who decides to break the standstill first. It looks like Stromsunder inching forward a little bit. They are spotted, so no way Stormbreak. Well, Storm Spot goes away. Ideally, if one of these ships, as long as the spots remain, neither team really wants to move because they don't want. Both teams want to find an opportunity to sneak off and get a good angle on their opponents. So, while there are ships spotted, nobody's going to reposition. However, spots now are gone, and you see Stormbreaker slowly backing away. We'll see where they decide to go. There are two rear entrances from this side to blue spawn. There's the pipe here that most people are familiar with, which can be very tricky to get through. But also this is the boundary of the map where the camera is now. You can actually sneak around here, which is safer, but will put them a little bit farther away from where blue team is currently located. And we'll see what they decide to do. Is we've now expended half the match timer. Both teams currently testing their opponent's patience. Nobody wants to make the first move. And theoretically, because the fancy Gopniks do have the point advantage, the burden is on the Dmitrij's Angels to make the first move. Fancy Gopniks, they can sit here for the next 10 minutes and they will win if the Dmitrij's Angels don't do anything. So it's really on red team to make the first play. Stromsunder moving forward, but unfortunately spotted. You see him, he's inching towards the pipe. I think he's gonna go, maybe, I don't know, inching towards it, backing away. He probably doesn't want to do this with a spawn on him. As I said earlier, if you make the move while you are spotted, it gives your opponents plenty of time to reposition and catch you as you come through. So, and because, again, the Judgment is not a ship that can really utilize these cracks in the mountain, there's no way, if the Stromsunder goes through, there's no way Judgment's going to be able to support. They'll be totally isolated. And the Fancy Gopniks at that point would be able to get the dual focus of their choosing. They could go for the Stormbreaker, or they could just bum rush the position of the Judgment. See Stormbreaker moving forward here. Looks like no spot's still going down. And this is the trouble. If this cloud was a little bit thicker, if the cloud actually prevented the teams from spotting each other, somebody would have gone for a play. But the problem is, every time one of them, either team, I guess, primarily it's been the Stromsunder trying to move around. Anytime they move from their position, they just kind of go through one of the soft spots of the cloud and they get spotted. So they can't do anything. There's no way for them to be able to reposition without immediately being spotted. This position is very difficult for the Dmitrij's Angels, and I would almost say that the best idea here would be for them to just abandon this eastern location, go back into the canyons, come in through the west side or center, which would give the Judgment a little bit more room to play in. And because they've opted to bring no long-range weapons, the alien Dragonfly can just sit here. They're sitting outside of Gatling range, right at the edge of Gatling range, and Red Team can't do anything about it because they have no long-range weapons. Nordstoop, they opted to bring the Hwacha Heavy Carronade rather than bringing Lumberjack, which is what they typically do on most maps. As you see a Lumberjack, maybe a Minotaur. There's nothing they can do about it. And if they decide to charge the Dragonfly just backs away. Friendfish pops through the crack and hits whoever flies past them. However, it seems Dmitrij's Angels are tired of waiting, so there they go. They're moving after the Dragonfly. Snordstoop staying behind to hit the Friendfish. Friendfish gets a good fast balloon pop on the Red Judgment. But you see there, as soon as Friendfish starts taking damage, they just reverse away and they're totally protected. There's no way Judgment can follow them. And then the Dragonfly can also just do whatever. Dragonfly is backing off. At the very least, they've forced the Friendfish out of their position by the crack in the mountain range. So they've gained the Dmitrij's Angels have gained a little bit of ground. Only 5 minutes left on the clock, so they've got to. They can't dilly-dally for too much longer. As the Judgment is very slowly moving forward. But they still have not, the Dmitrij's Angels still have not fully committed. Snortstoop already turning back to the crack, I suppose expecting Friendfish to go back to the mountain and sneak through again, which is what it seems like the Goldfish is doing. So Snortstoop potentially going to be ready. However, the Judgment was spotted, so I'm not... It seems like everybody knows where everyone else is, so I'm not sure what the Friendfish hopes to really accomplish. Maybe just get a heavy carronade shot, a quick balloon pop off, and then once again back away. Okay, Judgment moving forward. Red team moving away from the crack of the map. Friendfish backing off as well, so... Are we going to see a hard initiation here from either team? Another minute has passed with the teams just kind of posturing. Friendfish Friendfish still holding that position. Are they moving through? Okay, Friendfish might be... Well, we'll see. Friendfish pushing forward a little bit. They might be committing here. Are they? They've turned. We'll get some micro-analysis here. They've turned, so it's going to make it difficult for them to back out. So it looks like they have committed to this forward movement. And here we go. Judgment looks like going to be the first target for the Friendfish. Heavy carronade shot does land. Second shot. Balloon is down. Friendfish going to fly away. And now the Alien Dragonfly needs to come in quick, help their ally out, because Friendfish currently the focus of the Stromsunder. Watcha hitting, 2 engines down on the Friendfish, main engine still up, so they're going to be able to run. As Alien Dragonfly has moved in and engaged on the Stormbreaker, Gatling coming out, Watcha as well. Engine, 2 guns down on the Stromsunder. Alien Dragonfly trying to switch sides. Well, the Bamboozle Moth has engaged on the Dragonfly as well. Armor on the Stromsunder is still staying up, so Alien Dragonfly has not been able to get an armor break on the Stormbreaker. Friendfish coming in. Hey, Snortstoop. You need to stay at the bottom of the ground, friend. And they do have Drogue shoot, does the Judgment, so their descent to the bottom of the map will be a little bit slowed by the piloting tool. Are we going to see dual focus on the Stormbreaker? Heavy carronade shots coming out. Balloon is down. The changed hitbox still proving to be no issue for the heavy carronade gunner. On the Goldfish. Big damage on the Stormbreaker. Snortstoop bumping them into position. Alien Dragonfly going for a ram. Missing. Now Friendfish has the low position here. Alien Dragonfly getting a kill on the Stormbreaker. Snortstoop has an opportunity. Armor is down on the Friendfish. Are they going to be able to kill unarmed light flak shots? But they do big damage, and Snortstoop is able to get the kill. Now, the issue here, the Stormbreaker did die a few seconds before the Goldfish did. So there's a possibility that Snortstoop is able to tank long enough to stay alive, because if Snortstoop dies, that's game over, and Hwacha hitting unarmored hull. Oh, a full connection. That was big damage. Snortstoop did not want to take that, and I think that might be it. Left side Hwacha able to finish them off, and that means with the Fancy Gopniks taking the first game of our final set, we will now be going on to a second game to determine the tournament, which is going to be on Water Hazard. Going into the last game of the last set of the day, between the Fancy Gopniks and the Dmitrij's Angels. First off, for red team, we have the Friendfish, heavy carronade Goldfish, left side Banshee, right side light carronade. Their ally is the Alien Dragonfly, Alien Dragonfly, Gatling Hwacha, paired with the Gatling and Hwacha. And their opponents, Snordstoop, Bop Stop, Blue Judgment here. Heavy Carronades, no. Nemesis, center. Not going to trick me this time, Nemesis. Paired with a Minotaur, Gatling, and a Light Flak. And finally, their ally, the Reborn, Mercury, Dual Artemis, Gatling, and Hades on the far left. Hey, what a surprise! Red team already engaged before I finished reading the loadouts. That's as I'm now accustomed to. So Dmitrij's Angels opting this game to bring a longer range loadout than they had previously, but Red team making that distinction irrelevant as they've already just immediately charged through the sniping lane. And Friendfish does not have a balloon pop on the Snordstoop, but they do get it as I finish that sentence. We'll see if Snordstoop decides to go for tries to smash him into the ground here. It looks like they are going to be able to. At least they're going to attempt to. Maybe a little bit of right side light carronade for good measure. And next heavy carronade shot will take the balloon down again. No, still once again light carronade. Snordstoop taking terrain damage. Hull armor and a balloon are down. Big chunk of health. Lost on that bump. And yeah, Snordstoop is well locked down here. That's going to be a kill. And very quickly switching back to the Reborn Alien Dragonfly. There's now a very short timer here for the Reborn to get a kill or disengage the Dragonfly. And I don't think they're going to be able to do either, because with the ally dead, the Friendfish will be coming to play in just a few moments. However, Alien Dragonfly getting big damage with that Hwacha connection, so yeah, I think they're shoot vent. Reborn just shoot venting into the ground. They're done. They want to reset the fight. And ideally for the Dmitrij's Angels, make a little bit heavier, be able to get in a position where they can make better utilization of their long-range guns, because you saw there at the beginning of the fight, Red team just charged right through. The blue, the firepower from the Judgment and the Mobula really did nothing to dissuade them. So hopefully they can get a little bit more done. Looks like they're taking the western position here, western spawns for blue. Friendfish spotted. And this should be a good open map position for blue to do some sniping. Switch over to red side. See how many of these shots hit. Yep, heavy carronade is down. Rare form landing some good Artemis shots. Friendfish moving in. Looks like first target going to be the Snordstoop, while Alien Dragonfly once again goes for the Reborn. I feel like this is essentially the old Squid versus Mobula strategy, where the fast ship with the Gatling gun, one of the issues with the Mobula is it has very slow turning. So these fast ships that are able to strafe well, once they get the rear of the Mobula, there's nothing the Mobula can do. It's a very one-sided 1v1 matchup, which is what we're seeing the Alien Dragonfly doing. You see, every time they pretty much go for the Mobula, and Gatling taking down the armor, they're trying to switch to the right side for the Hwacha, but the Nemesis, not the Nemesis, the Minotaur, making the turn a little bit more difficult than one would think. As blue team gets a good focus on the Goldfish, Friendfish getting bounced into the terrain by the Minotaur, Alien Dragonfly going for the kill on Reborn. Great Hwacha connection. Reborn is in Gatling kill range. I don't know if Snordstoop is going to be able to do enough to stop them with the Minotaur and the Nemesis knocking them around. Reborn just barely able to rising up. They're so heavily damaged. Gatling coming out. Armor's burning down. But Alien Dragonfly, I think Snordstoop has done enough to force the Shrike away. And the Reborn's armor it burns down just as the Alien Dragonfly flies out of arcs. They're unable to follow up. And has given the Reborn time to reverse away. And hydrogening up as well, creating a little bit of space between them and the enemy Shrike. However, despite the fact that they have It's quite miraculous that they've stayed alive as long as they have, as long as they had. They're still not winning this fight. They're trying to move forward to be able to assist their ally with the Friendfish. But unfortunately, Friendfish does get the kill on the Snortstoop. And I think Dragonfly going to get the kill on the Reborn as well. And 4 points on the board for the Fancy Gopniks. They are on match point. They are on tournament point. The next kill, and they will be SCS champions. Now, okay, I was going to say, where does the Dmitrij Angels decide to spawn? They take the eastern spawn, which is more heavily protected by terrain and clouds, which is not, I think, not a great spot for a sniper team to be in, because it allows their opponents, the terrain protects them, but it also protects their opponent's approach. And red team has successfully predicting this spawn location, has already engaged them with Alien Dragonfly, this time getting the rear of the Snortstoop, balloon down to the heavy carrier of the Friendfish. Friendfish switching focus to the Reborn, trying to keep their armor up. Friendfish only about 30% permahull, but they are able to get into the blind spot of the Reborn before the Reborn is able to do any real damage, and Alien Dragonfly joining in as well. Might be seeing a dual focus on the Mobula, and this is a bad spot. Snortstoop has to make something happen, or the Reborn is donezo. Balloon on right side, light carronade on the Reborn's balloon. It's down. Whole armor is down. Friendfish going to go for a ram. Are they going to be able to rebuild the armor quickly enough? Reborn is running away. Friendfish trying to get him. Heavy carronade is still up. Watch a connection on the Reborn. Big damage. Reborn so heavily damaged. I don't know if Snortstoop is going to be able to corral both the enemy ships, as the Reborn does die to the Alien Dragonfly, excuse me, which means the Fancy Gopniks, a little bit of a shaky start for them in their first game against Dmitrij's Angels, but in the finals, taking it back with a very strong performance. They're your SCS number 205 champions.